Hello, I'm Pratap here. In this video, I'm going to explain one of the most important terminologies, zone achievement. ZA is the short name. Please follow my mouse movement in this video. ZA stands for zone achievement. Some of the advanced strategies are having dependency on this concept, zone achievement. And zone achievement can be achieved in two ways. One is based on the violation of the opposing zone, and another one is based on violation of the opposing pivot. So, violation of the opposing zone I named as VOZ in short form, and violation of the opposing pivot I am named as VOP in short form. So, let me explain what is violation of opposing zone. If anyone is not having awareness about this concept, please look into this example. I'm taking Nifty 50 as an example. So look into this particular zone, demand zone. When this demand zone was created, what was its opposite zone or opposing zone? Opposing zone means the zone that is fighting against this particular demand zone. We always know a demand zone always fights with supply zone, or supply zone fights with demand zone. That means demand zone is trying to push the price up and the supply zone is trying to push the price down. That's why always there is a fight between demand and supply zone. And a chart might be having any number of demand zones and any number of supply zones. Can we call every supply zone as an opposing zone? No. The zone, the supply zone that is immediate to the demand zone is called opposing zone. For example, if you take this demand zone and this was the immediate supply zone, look into this. Here prices went inside the supply zone and the pending orders in the supply zone pushed the price down. And now a new demand zone is created and it has so many new orders, and then it pushed the price up. Again, price reached at the supply zone at this point of time, that is on 27th June 23. So let me adjust this chart in such a way we can see up to 27th June 2023. And let me zoom. Now observe carefully. This was the supply zone and this one is the new demand zone. And on 27th, the price reached the supply zone. And the supply zone pending orders is supposed to push the price zone. But this demand zone is so powerful in such a way, the next day, the price broke this supply zone and went out of the supply zone and closed the price outside the supply zone. That means this supply zone is called as a violated supply zone. Who violated the supply zone? The demand zone that was created newly on 27th June 2023. Because this demand zone violated its opposing zone. Opposing zone means opposite side, the immediate opposite side zone. For a demand zone, the immediate opposite side zone is a opposing supply zone. So that's why this demand zone gets a zone achievement. That zone achievement is called VOZ, violated opposing zone. And this is a very important concept. And if you are already aware of supply and demand zone concepts, you might be knowing how important it is. Or those who are not aware of this concept, hopefully you will understand these concepts in detail in the coming days. Hope you all understand what exactly the meaning of violated opposing zone. And that is called a zone achievement. This demand zone got a zone achievement by breaking its opposing zone. And that zone achievement is called as VOZ, violated opposing zone. So that is what you can observe in this report, VOZ. Under the column ZA. ZA means zone achievement. And it is also having one more type of achievement that is called VOP. VOP stands for violated opposing pivot. Let me explain what is VOP. Look into this chart. And this price movement, the price action, it reached the maximum point here, and after that the price again turned down. These turnings are again from up, went down, and again it is turning up. They are called swings. So this is a swing high and this one is swing low. So let me draw a line. This blue color line, it indicates the swing high. And what this demand zone has done, it pushed the price in such a way, it not only broke this supply zone, it also broke this swing high. That means it is forming a swing higher high. Who made it? This particular demand zone. That's why it gets an achievement called VOP. That is called violated opposing pivot. The swing highs and swing lows are called as, can also be called as pivots. That's why we named it as a VOP, violated opposing pivot. The blue color line, it was a pivot, the swing high. And this demand zone is responsible for breaking this opposing pivot, the opposite side pivot. That's why the zone achievement it gets is VOP, violated opposing pivot. The earlier achievement it called VOZ, violated opposing zone. That means this zone got two different types of zone achievement. It got violated opposing zone and also it got violated opposing pivot. So which one we should represent? The highest one we should represent. Out of these VOP and VOZ, VOZ is having highest priority. So if it is getting, it is already violated opposing zone, and that is having the highest priority. So we represented here as VOZ, violated opposing zone. But if you look into this particular zone, supply zone, it did not break any opposing demand zone, but it broke an opposing pivot. That's why it got a zone achievement VOP. And look into this particular script here, Nifty Bank, and the nearest supply zone is not having any zone achievement. That's why I defined in my report, I displayed just an hyphen. Hyphen indicates nothing. So it is not having a zone achievement. That means it does not break any opposing zone as well as opposing pivot. Maybe in the coming days, it may break an opposing zone or opposing pivot. On that day, it will be getting a zone achievement. Until that time, this particular demand zone is not having any zone achievement. But if you look into Nifty 50, the demand zone is having a violated opposing zone achievement, that is the highest achievement, and the supply zone is having a violated opposing pivot zone achievement, that is the next level or second level zone achievement. The first level is a violated opposing zone and the second level is a violated opposing pivot. And especially violated opposing zone is very, very important. If a stock, if a zone is having a violated opposing zone achievement, and it will be used in some of the advanced strategies for finding the high liquidity zones. That means the zones are having highest success rate can be called as high liquidity zones. And such kind of zones you will understand in detail in the coming days. I hope you got better understanding about what exactly the meaning of violated opposing zone. So as a recap, once again, I will explain. If a demand zone breaks its immediate opposite supply zone, then that demand zone gets a zone achievement, that is violated opposing zone. The same concept you can apply even for supply zone. If a supply zone breaks its immediate opposite demand zone, then that supply zone gets a zone achievement, that is called violated opposing zone. So I will explain more concepts related to the terminology in my next video. Until then, have a good day. Bye bye.